And good evening, everyone, and welcome back to BC Wrestle Pod. Freshly back from vacation for me specifically, and yeah, I'm happy to be here. Of course, welcome to the Velvet Riot, which is our Eve Girls of Wrestling post show here at BC Wrestle Pod. My name is Mikey El Jefe, and of course, I am here with my partner in crime of all things Eve related, Mr. Betty, who is also giving the sentiment that Abby found a job. Yay!
She did. Woohoo! But we'll get into that later on. Greetings and salutations, Mikey and wrestling fans all over the world. Let's rock and roll.
Absolutely. So I'm so happy to be back. Thoroughly enjoyed my week off on my vacation, but I am happy to jump back into the saddle with my friends whom I love and I have missed. And we are here this evening, of course, to talk about Eve 151, which was aptly named Beers, Brawls, and Burlesque, which was really fun to watch. Uh, so we got lots to talk about. So really quickly, as far as our intro goes, because we're going to be doing something a little different tonight, which I'll talk about here in a moment, but we go live on pretty much a bunch of streaming sites, so you may pick your favorite to watch us live or watch our edited videos go up the next day. Social medias at BC WrestlePod. We have a merch store, bcwrestlepodshop.fourthwall.com. And then last but certainly not least, we have a coffee that helps us pay for summer pay-per-views. And AEW just announced a bunch of shows today. And while I was gone, lots of other things have happened. So I'm like, well, we're going to have content for the summer. So it's going to be good times. Uh, and Eve is no exception because we got some matches made for future shows as well. I'm like, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the show. But we're going to be doing something a little different tonight. So we are going to primarily be talking and focusing on Eve 151. But we also, because it's been a crazy week for international wrestling and wrestlers coming to the States for a bunch of different promotions as part of Forbidden Door season. And we're going to briefly talk about Ring of Honor Global Wars because there was a lot of international talent, and we want to give kudos to that. And it kind of ties into Eve since we're talking about international British wrestling women's talent. So let's just jump into it. We got lots of things to talk about. So let us get started. So we kick things off officially. Well, first we get, of course, our Eve champion, Miss Session Moth Martina, who has left all 182 of her kids back at her house once again. And she comes out of the ring, and so I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, all right, Session, what we gonna do? Because I was like, don't know what's gonna happen. So Session Moth gets into the ring. She cuts a promo. She talks about how proud she was to win the Eve Championship at Wrestle Queendom, and she's had this title for 5 months, and she's not had many title defenses, and she doesn't want to be like every other champion. She wants to be a fighting champion, and so she lays down the challenge for our first match of the evening, which is an open challenge. Which, to our surprise, Betty, we got not one but two people to answer this, turning this into a triple threat. And so officially opening up Eve 151 is for the Eve Championship with the Session Moth defending the title against both Alice Inc. and Lucy Sky. And I'm just like, oh, this is going to be good. And I was not disappointed. I think I've said this every time we've talked about Eve. The more I see Alice Inc. on these Eve shows, the more I really enjoy her. I think she's really great. And commentary has done a really good job of building her up as somebody who is going to be a huge staple in Eve, taking Miyu Yamashita to her limits during, the tournament to crown the number one contender for the Eve International Championship, as well as the tag team matches and singles matches. And the match against Rio from last show was ooh. And then same thing with Lucy. I'm just like, between her and Molly Spartan, like the power based girls are doing it. This was just a fun opening match. with everyone kind of working together and their strengths. But this was a blast. Benny, what did you think of our opener for the Eve Championship?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Like, I feel like every time I see Alice Inc. And Eve, she seems to be growing a little bit more confident every single time. I don't know if it's just like she's getting comfortable in front of that crowd, and uh, the the crowd seems to be welcoming her as well. Um, Lucy Sky is somebody that like when her music hits, I'm like, oh, like she is a bruiser, man. Like, uh, and like thank God, Session Moth found enough babysitters to get over here for this title defense. They say it takes a village. that might be literally that. Might take a whole county. Um, excuse me, my voice a little raspy, just getting over a cold. I just want to call a few spots here because there was some great stuff here. Like at the beginning, like Session Moth like grabs Alice in like a headlock, and then like she tries like turns around, and then like Lucy just like clotheslines her out of her boot, right? But then she DDTs Alice at the same time. I always love those little combo spots. I always love those. And like Alice does this like the tail whip, like sort of like Luchasaurus, right? Like where she like rebounds around the ring and then comes back and hits the kick. Oh man, that always looks so sweet, man. And that Jaeger bomb that Session Moth, like her finishing move, it always looks so convoluted, but it always looks impactful. So I have no complaints about that.
I agree with you there. And this is just a minor thing too. Not to get I mean, we are a wrestling podcast, so let's get a little nerdy. Let's get wrestling nerdy, right? Because I feel that a finisher needs to be some sort of impactful because it's literally a finisher. Like you want to telegraph to the audience watching that this is the finisher, this is what's going to keep the opponent down. And I feel that we've some wrestler like not all of them, but some wrestlers have lost that art form of a finisher needing to feel impactful. And specifically talking about Session Moth, I'm like, I 100% agree with you. It looks impactful and it makes me believe, oh, this is a finisher. So it is definitely the purpose of it is to try to keep your opponent down for the 3 count, and so that's what it needs to be. I'm looking at you wrestlers. I was just like, we need to be or I feel like some wrestlers just need to figure out, hey, how do we make this move look devastating to keep my opponent down? But that's just me.
No, I completely agree. Uh, um, you know, make me believe for a second.
And Session Moth exactly did just that. She made us believe again because she would end up retaining her Eve championship, a really fun opening bout. Not only featuring our Eve champion, but continuing to showcase all of the wonderful women that they have on this roster with Lucy and Alice as well. And I love how everyone just kind of shuffles around and everybody gets to fight everyone in Eve, which is really nice to see because then everyone gets to have different things and everyone moves in different. We have crazy technical matches, championship matches, comedy spots, which we're going to talk about in a little bit with a certain Miss Abby. Everyone gets the chance to do every type of wrestling trope in Eve so far that we've been watching and covering it, and I'm loving every single minute of it. But fun opening bout, and definitely set up the tone and the precedence for an incredibly fun show that we would get for Eve 151, which leads us into our next match, which is our number one contendership match for the Eve Tag Team Champions. Yes, so to set this up, of course, this is a match between the two teams. Well, one side being the former Eve Tag Team Champions and Lally, so Lana Austin and Holly Barlow. And of course, they would be taking on the other team that has kind of been swarming and circling the Eve Tag Team Championship scene, well, since Wrestle Kingdom in Night Sky. Now, we get the teams in the ring. We're going to see who's going to be number one contender. But oh no, the plot thickens because we got some shenanigans. We got some insanity because Rio comes out after wanting to get revenge for getting embarrassed and for everything that has been transpiring this year. And so Night Sky attack Lana Austin. They take her to the outside of the ring and they hold her down and they force Lana Austin to watch Rio like knock down Holly Barlow, pick her up, drag her over to the steel steps, and Rio delivers a nasty looking muscle buster onto the steel steps, literally taking Holly Barlow out. And I'm like, no, those dastardly villains.
Yeah, yeah. That Riho, what a brute, man! Like she's such a meanie. You know, like there's very few people that like you know have me cheering 1 second and then go like whoa, and like legit, you know. She's great, man. Like and that package pile driver on the steel steps. Oh man, that thing looked nasty. And boy, oh boy, would Alana would not let take that sitting down later on in the night either, which is one thing I
No,
love about Eve.
we love continuity between matches, man, and we're gonna talk about Lana at the end as well. But with Holly taken out of the equation, the number one contendership match becomes a 2-on-1 situation as Lana Austin will be having to go into this match fighting Night Sky by herself. And I have to say, I think that the booking and the women in this match in particular did a hell of an incredible job for like the 12 minutes that we got in this match. They told a really great overarching story with the first act of Night Sky definitely having the advantage since it's 2-on-1. Then the second act of Lana Austin coming back and literally decimating Night Sky and getting a good chunk of offense in. But it as is the world with real life, the numbers game would come back to bite Lana in the end because Night Sky would. They are the full tag team, and Lana's by herself. In Act 3, Lana gave it the best that she could, but Night Sky put her down to become number one contenders for the Eve Tag Team Championships. But man, what a really fun from beginning of when Holly Barlow being taken out to the end of Night Sky winning, like that 15 minutes, that 20 minutes, this whole entire thing was just great. It was like shout outs to everyone. Match was fantastic. Love the storytelling. This was really fun.
Oh man, yeah, it's perfect. You know, and that dastardly Dan letting this match go on, uh, or that dastardly Billy Goat. Um, you know, Lana put up a great fight in this one, but as you said, like the numbers got the better of her, and I really like this Nice Guy as a tag team. Like they are just mean. Like like literally in my notes it says they got the win. Boo!
It's crazy to and they yeah, I love a good dastardly villain tag team, honestly. And
Mm.
it's been really fun to see them, you know, develop this more as the year has gone on because going from having a tag team championship match but you know being disqualified after the ref was actually smart and saw the cheating happening on the screen, and then somehow they finagled their way into this and they played the playbook of Dick Dastardly and it was just like, alrighty, Exactly. It's like what you said, Betty. It's like they win. Boo.
Yeah, and like I like the fact that like Lana, like, this really wasn't the story that they told, but apparently, like, Lana's more like, let's just live to fight another day and go check on my friend, essentially, like, because as we said before, she's not going to take that lying down, and I feel I feel. Oh wait, there was a connection at the end of Wrestle Queendom as well. Is that like, as in the aftermath of towards the tail end of Session Moth and Rio, Night Sky came out and jumped Session Moth, and that's what started that whole uh, girl gang beatdown. So there may be something there. There may be something there.
There's just so much good stuff that has been set up for Wrestle Queendom since Wrestle Queendom, I should say. And yeah, Night Sky is number one contenders for the Eve Tag Team Championships. I'm looking forward to the match between them and French Art, who we're also going to talk about a little bit later too. But let's continue. So Night Sky wins the match, new number one contenders, and we would also be seeing them a little bit later too, playing the villain roles once again and being absolute heels, which I love. But let's keep going because afterwards we get into our next match, which was this was so good too. So this is whatever you want to call it. I would say a hardcore death match, but there was weaponry and there was bleeding. So what seems to be forever because we've been trying to get this match together for the last couple of months that I've learned and found out, but we finally got here. And so we have our hardcore match between Emerson Jane and AEW Sky Blue. Now, for those of you who are watching and might be wondering, what is Sky Blue doing here? And why is she participating in a hardcore match? And the reason is because fast forwarding a little bit in her promo, which I'll break down in detail a little bit later, she loves hardcore wrestling. And looking at her track record of the things that she has done in AEW so far, she has been a part of some really incredibly, really great hardcore matches. The latest, of course, being her iconic, which was used as thumbnails across the internet, her iconic all bloodied face during the first ever women's blood and guts match. And being the fact that she started that whole entire match off by being first in the cage and going that whole hour just with everything, I'm like, I don't know the relationships between AEW and a couple other promotions, but if we can have Blackheart, Leo Rush, and Hook go to GCW, I want to see Sky Blue participate in some ultra violent championship matches. Like, honestly, her and Vipers can go. I'm just saying. Anywho, but this match was really fun. There was lots of creative spots. Like, I did wince. I was like, oh, we're sticking skewers through thighs. Oh. I was like, okay. I don't know why, but like skewers to the head, I was like, okay, makes sense. I'm not really closing one eye and like wincing a little bit. But watching skewers go through the thighs, I'm like, not the carotid arteries. No. I was like, there were chairs. There were there were successful table breaks and tables that refused to be broken. Um, steel stairs going into the audience. We fought at the bar at one point in this match too. Like, Emerson got whipped with her own belt by Sky. I was just like, this match was just pure chaos. And then, like, the last 5 minutes of the match, we had Dan come over yelling on commentary. It's just like, remove the clock from here. We're going to keep going until this match is over. I'm like, oh shit, okay. This was just chaotic. And I was like, I was here for it all. This was just this was a blast. Emerson and Sky did the dang thing. This was a lot of fun.
Oh man, what a great match! And like, it also broke the internet for a little while. This match did, because it's Sky. So Emerson Jane, like, as soon as like this match was announced last month, I was like, oh, that's gonna get hardcore because we both know you know, their fortes in wrestling, right? Like Emerson Jane is very much like yeah, stick stick a lawn dart, stick a tart through my cheek. That's fine. Um, but yeah, the sideways chairs, like there's a few things that, like, I'm not a big hardcore wrestling person. Like I can do it, you know. It's part of the art form, you know. Because wrestling is a variety show. If When it's at its best, and that's one thing I love about Eve is that it's literally a variety show. Um, and my point is that, like, you know, some things make me go like, I don't want to watch this, and that one of those things was the sideways chairs and the skewers in the thighs, and I was like, no, 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 no. But it sounds like a good idea, but it may not be a good idea in practicality, you know. And then like yeah, like yeah, like when they went over to the bar, I was like, oh, that's what that side of the room looks like, you know. Oh man, and yeah, man, like Emerson Jane is just like an all around great wrestler. Like she's just perfect, man. She really is. Like the fact that she's not, well, you know what? She's doing what she loved to do, so I'm not gonna say nothing.
Drew Parker has trained her well in the sense that because Emerson and another wrestler, Drew Parker, they've had a couple of stints in GCW over the last year or so. So watching them do death matches in GCW has been fun. But yeah, this was just a blast. Also, I have to say, Sky using the belt and just whipping
Oh
the
yeah,
crew
oh yeah.
because like they're like, no, we're not gonna move this table for you, and then she hits them. They're like, okay, we'll move it for you. Then we'll get it for you. I was
That
like,
was a great little
there's
spot where she was just like, oh, you won't move them? Okay,
just like
how about now?
starts hitting them with the she starts hitting them with Emerson's belt, and they're like, okay. Oh man. This was such a fun back and forth. Sky would pick up the victory here. She cuts a promo afterwards. First, because the crowd took the words out about, fuck them tables. I really loved it, but that was fun. But I really love the promo that Sky did. She talks about why she's here in Eve. She loves hardcore wrestling. She really, this is where she thrives. She loves that she gets to come here and do these things and fight incredible women. And she ends it by giving us a really fun, which I hope is true. She's like, I'll see y'all at Wembley weekend because Eve will be having a show going into All In. So I'm like, like, yes. I was like, I will be back for in Eve. Not too. We won't have to wait too long for her to come back to Eve, which I'm happy about.
Yeah, I believe that's what Eve versus the World too, right?
I believe so. Yes. Which, ooh, we're gonna talk about it when we get to the end of the show because we got our official match made for the international championship, and I'm like,
Yeah, that match is gonna rule.
that whole show's gonna be insane, but really fun stuff. I love seeing that Tony Khan is sending some of the women here to fight in Eve. We've seen Willow, Chris, Harley, Megan, Sky. Julia Hart has also been here in previous incarnations of Eve too. So it's just like I'm looking forward to the rest of the summer, like Eve versus the world. And then I'm gonna talk about it at the end of the show too, because Eve just, casually announced that in November their elite encounter show is just there's a little match called there's a team, the experience. And I was like, okay, cool. And they're just taking on a team of, nothing crazy but the Brawling Birds. And I was like, excuse me. I was like, holy hell. Anyways,
Yeah, hyperactive, straight off their tour of Japan.
seriously, I was just like, Lord, that match is gonna be crazy. But anywho, let's keep going because let's get into this one. So, well, let's talk about the match first because we got a little bit of an intermission, and then when we come back, we get this next match, which of course is the Cruella Deville of Eve herself, Miss Alexis Falcon, taking on Aluna. And this was a really fun match. And I love that Eve continuously pleasantly surprises me because I was like, oh yeah, Alexis is gonna win. And then I'm like, oh, never mind. This was a really fun. Again, I am not familiar with Aluna. Um, this is my first introduction to her. And I was like, I love getting to know more people. I think she's really good. I think she has a really cool, repertoire in terms of her technical ability. Alexis is also great as well, being the overly, but like in the best way possible, like cartoonishly heel. She is the mean girl, which is really fun to watch. And the mean girl got her comeuppance. So this was fun. Alexis also made me laugh too because like when she took the ref into the pin at one point had me laughing, and then afterwards she told Aluna, respect the refs. Oh my goodness. I I this was the whole entire time I was watching this show. Like the running theme for me is I couldn't stop smiling because of how much I enjoy Eve now in general. But I was having a good time. This was fun. Again, I feel like I'm going to say that about every match, but this was a blast. And yeah, Eve surprised me with the victor of this one. I was like, this was fun. This was a good showcase for somebody new. And Alexis Falcon continues to be really fun to watch as well.
Yeah, I'm not very familiar with Aluna myself. I think this is like the second or third time I've seen him wrestle, and I think the other times were in a tag match or in a multi-person rather. Sorry. Um, and I thought she was great. Like she's got great fire. Um, and uh, like I even wrote down that ref spot in my notes, because like that was great, you know, and well, like I always love a good a good ref spot where the ref gets involved, Uh, I wish it would happen more often, but I understand why it doesn't. The ref is not a participant. Um, like Alexis Falcon is really growing on me. Like the more and more I see her, like uh, I really see like the Disney princess, like a Disney villain style style heel, and man, uh, she's also like a really great wrestler. So like you can tell that like um, she's got that base, and then like she's just dials it all up to 11, and she's just fantastic. Like her finishing move is called off with her head. You can't get one. All right, you get one of these. Come on, get out of the focus. There we go. Love it.
This isn't yeah, I agree with you. And again, as somebody who well, covering Eve with you and then also covering Progress, like watching a couple of these girls, it's really fun to see them be able to kind of switch between heel and face depending on where they're at. Um, Alexis is a heel in both, so it's really fun. But that Disney villain couldn't be more true because in Progress, like yesterday, I believe, or earlier this morning, she posted a promo, talking about her upcoming match against Rio for the Progress Women's Championship at Scorchio, which is the next chapter coming up this month. And literally the promo begins with like her animated mirror intro. It's like mirror, mirror on the wall. I'm like, there it is. It's so much fun. But well, this match was a lot of fun. Aluna does pick up the victory over a shocked Alexis Falcon, but we were not done with Alexis because first and foremost, we got to give shout out to Miss Abby who finally got a job, y'all. We're like, woo! And
Oh man.
this had me This had me cackling, Benny. Like this picture sums up it perfectly, and I was dying.
Man, this was such a silly little bit, but I think I said this last month, but like I love Abby. Like she is just so perfect in the role that she's playing. Like, oh man, like, the little drawing like we're gonna what was it, like we're gonna spit on you or something like that. Like
I
it
was dying.
oh man. As I said, like wrestling at its best is a variety show, and Abby provides the haha most of the time. So I'm always here for it.
Of course, Alexis would not be taking it lightly. She does go after Abby. I'm like, yes, Alexis versus Abby feud would be quite entertaining. I would be here for it all. I have to
Yeah,
say, go
I
ahead.
also love the victory lap that she took. Like
Yes.
like the crowd cheering. Like oh, it's
I mean,
like
yeah.
Annie's got a gun, but Abby's got a job. Like good stuff, you know.
I mean, it might be expensive, but like I can only imagine. Man, I want to go to an Eve show so bad. I was like, it just feels like a fun Friday night leading into the weekend kind of thing. I was just like you said, if Eve sometimes feels like a variety show, and this feels like a fun Friday night variety show. You know, you go out with your mates, you know, your significant others, your partners, whatever, your friends. Y'all are there to watch wrestling and burlesque for a little bit, and then go home and call it a night. I'm like, it feels so much fun. I love it so much, and it's such a great time, and it's bits like this that really make me love Eve even more because it's not just wrestling. We get burlesque, we get comedy. It feels like a variety show, and just
Mm,
it feels like an activity that you go out with your friends to kick off the weekend, and I love that their shows are on Friday nights, so
yeah,
well, over
that's
there,
one of
it's
the
Friday nights. For us, it's, like, in the morning.
yeah, yeah, right. It's like Friday afternoon for me. You know, it's like I can't start drinking yet. You know, like that ring announcer like that they have. I can never get her name right, so I'm not going to try to. Um, man, she is so perfect. They are so perfect, man.
I
Like,
love them so much. I was just like, I need every ring announcer to bring this much gusto. Well, because like again, because it's wrestling, burlesque. It's like they're not just the announcer; they're literally the MC for the whole entire show, and it works so perfectly. It's so good.
yeah, like when she's like ribbing the two guys in the front row, right? Like you guys always come together. Like, you guys friends? They're like, no. She's like, no. Like you're always here together. Like, why don't you have like a play date or something? Like,
Oh
oh,
man,
she's great.
she really is, and I'm just like, anyways, this whole bit was great. I loved it. The match before this was fun, but let's keep going because alrighty, let's talk about this one because another fun one. So, in a non-tag team title match, which had a really fun story being told in it too. Of course, we have our newly crowned Eve Tag Team Champions from Eve 150, French Heart, which is Corey Zero and JGU, taking on the team of Melissa Fierce and making her proper debut in Eve Miss Maddie Morgan, who is also coming back from Japan. A lot of these girls just came back from Japan too, which has been nice. And this is a non-title tag team match. I really love this match because again, I felt like it told a really fun story because I love French art. And I love the arc that we got in here with them being super cocky to them. All right, we kind of got to take Melissa and Maddie a little bit seriously here a little bit. So let's like lighten up in here. Melissa Fierce. I was not, up on your game because I was like, "Oh, girl, you can go. Okay." And then Maddie, I've seen a little bit of you, but I was like, "Okay, I like what you see." But this was just a fun, like, back and forth, everybody working really well together. And then of course, the added extra cherry on top is having Night Sky be heels, watching the match with chairs on the entrance ramp, you know, antagonizing everyone, making faces. Like it was perfection, beauty, mwah, loved it. But Benny, I love French art. I keep saying this every time they're on my screen, but I really love French art. But Melissa, Maddie, this was really fun. Again, everybody worked really well together, and this is one of the cases where it's like, see, when you actually have actual like tag team wrestling and give them time, like we get fun matches like this because we went the full time limit, Benny, which I was like, whoa, it's insane. We actually got to the time limit draw for this one.
Yeah, that was a really interesting way of getting around not beating the champs or putting over the champs in the in their first defense, right? Oh, there's non-title. Never mind. But either way, like it would be their first match since winning the titles. So and I like the distraction by Night Sky because Night Sky are clearly the big bads in Eve right now. Freudian slip, man. Uh, Corey Zero did this like the fingers pop spot, and you could actually hear the pop. I don't know how she did that, and I don't want to know how she did that because sometimes when you know those kind of things, it takes the magic away. So, uh, but that was amazing. And this, what, Maddie Morgan, right? Uh, she's gonna be great, man. She's only like 19, and I was like, what? Like, like her footwork is incredible, and she's going places if she sticks around. Uh, what was it like? I really like the French arts like finisher like
It's so fun to watch.
and was it Corey Zero doing that like top rope moonsault
Mm-hmm.
thing, and then like one of them hit like a lion tamer,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like we're getting all the references in this match, and it's fucking great. Like I'm so here for it. We're 40 minutes in.
I was just like, we just need to make it past the 5 minute mark and we're good. But yeah, so no, I agree with you. This is fucking fantastic. Oh my goodness. But like I said, we made it to the time limit draw, and the time limit draw really works wonders. It keeps the newly crowned champions from getting pinned after only getting the championships last month at Eve 150, but it also does what it needs to, and this showcase properly Maddie Morgan and what she can do. And I'm excited to see more Maddie here at Eve and Melissa Fierce as well. Very fun. But yeah, I
Oh, there was this one spot where like uh, they had Maddie Morgan in the corner, and then like
mhm.
they did like this like crossbody, this like crisscross thing, right? Where both members of French Art were gonna like sandwich her or something, and then
Mhm.
she just dives and makes the hot tag. Well, what a great hot tag moment! That was absolutely incredible.
It was so good. And like I said, this match was a lot of fun. And then we would find out, like, towards the end, after, Night Sky tries to go after French Art, but they were ready for them. So we're getting French Art versus Night Sky at Friday Night Out, which is the next show. So Eve 152. So that's the show before Wembley week, I should say, not even weekend, because wrestling in the UK will be on and popping for the week. So we're gonna be getting the Eve tag team title match between French Art and Night Sky at Friday Night Out, which is going to be at the beginning of August. So in a couple of weeks, we'll be getting that match. So I'm looking forward to that one. That one's gonna be a lot of fun. And listen, if French Art continue on the role they are, they probably will end up being my tag team of the year.
Yeah, mine too, to be honest with you.
So excited.
I love that Dan was in the commentary for this one, and he was talking to Nina, and,
Mhm.
and he was like, Nina's like, can't you just make the match now? And he's like, no, this is championship committee. It's like technically in kayfabe or whatever. Will Ospreay's the booker, like Dan's the owner, so like I like the mouthpiece, general manager, if you will.
It's small touches like that I appreciate too, because I'm like Dan's the owner, but he's not the one who's in charge of booking all these matches. There is actually like a committee, as he says it on air, that are the ones who are responsible booking matches, and especially the championship ones. Well, our championship committee, aka Ospreay, would let it be known that at Friday Night Out, we would be getting French Art versus Night Sky for the tag titles, which makes me super excited. Alrighty, let's get into this because Benny, we made it to the main event, number one contendership for the Eve International Championship. The winner will go on to face Miyu Yamashita for the title. And I was just like, this match was like, woo! Holy crap.
Yeah.
I don't have
woo. It gets one of these, you know what I mean? Like, good lord.
There's no word. There's not enough words, only sound effects. Like, because that was me this entire match. I was like, oh, yes. I was like, woo!
I think we do video on this podcast and not just audio, because people just be like, what are they doing? Because it's like, I don't know. I'm trying to verbalize like how happy I am right now, because this delivered on everything that we were expecting. They started slow, and Rio was a brute, just like as she is, and Kaylee Ray was the underdog, but like she's just always coming back for more. Like, admittedly, I'm not very up to speed with Kaylee Ray, right? Because I haven't watched WWE in years, but like, she's won me over in like a couple matches because like I've gone back and watched her older stuff on Eve, and man, she's fantastic, man. And she's got like this like never say die type character, She's willing to throw her body at anything as long as it gets her the dub,
Yeah, there's not enough that I could say because we will be here forever. But this match delivered on what I was expecting and then some. This was just great wrestling. And again, as somebody who is a huge fan of Kaylee Ray and has been following her forever, it's really nice to see her come back to the home that established her, which is great. But then also with Rio continuing to rise to my ranks of somebody who is about to become the next big star in the next year or two and get signed somewhere big. Um, and just she is literally becoming the hit maker. She's becoming, she's collecting the accolades, of course. Again, this is Eve, but Progress and Eve kind of go hand in hand because a lot of the talent worked together from there. But having her be the first ever, because they had their first women's strong style 16 tournament and her being the inaugural one, the inaugural winner of the women's strong style was great. But this match was a lot of fun. But we talked about it a little bit at the beginning. But Lana Austin came back with a vengeance because towards the tail end of this match, the refs and the staff would try to keep her from getting into the ring because Lana Austin was out for revenge for her bestie, Holly Barlow, and she wanted a piece of Rio, which would distract Rio enough for Kaylee Ray to take advantage and to, after a small little bit of back and forth, Kaylee Ray is our number one contender. And at Eve versus the World 2 during All in Wembley week. So this show is on Friday leading into the pay-per-view for AEW. Is going to be Miyu Yamashita versus Kaylee Ray for the Eve International Championship. When I saw the official graphic pop up, I just made the noise of, oh my gosh, that match is going to rule.
Yeah. Uh, this is one of those instances where I was like, you know what, you versus either of these, and I'd be happy. One thing I really liked about this match was that like it ended in the best way it could have, right? With a surprise roll up, because getting caught is is something in wrestling, is a story in wrestling, like so. Riho has been actually getting her comeuppance from the likes of Session Moth and Kaylee Ray over the past few months, So like, she is the big bad of Eve, but doesn't mean that she's not going to get her comeuppance.
No, and I really appreciate from Eve specifically, and not just with Rio, but a lot of the heels. At least from my understanding, everything before Wrestle Queendom, a lot of the heels were running the yard, so to speak, in Eve. But now we're slowly seeing the page where the heroes of the story are finally getting the lickbacks, as I say. And I also appreciate that Eve makes these big, like major, their top heels. Yes, they are still going to get wins and still they are going to look great. But it's really fun to also, like in literature, what makes a good and compelling character is a character that it has pros and cons. A flawed character is the best kind of written character, and that's like writing 101 for whether you're writing a story or a play. Flawed characters is what gives them depth and a trajectory of where to go. So watching Rio, who is the big bad of Eve, also get her comeuppance, like you said, makes her flawed. She's going to win some and she's going to lose some, and it makes it more compelling to see her dominate when she wins, and also, get, the hero gets the revenge on her for things. So I don't know when we're getting in, but it seems that Lana Austin and Rio are going to be on a collision course, and I, for one, am here for whenever we get that match.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because I was just gonna say, like, because one thing I really appreciate about Eve, and a lot of indies should take note of this, is that they book for the next show, right? So like things will happen in this show, and then they'll get paid off, but then they'll be left on a cliffhanger for next month. Like what's going to happen with Lana and Riho next month.
Exactly.
What's going to happen with French Art and Nice Guy? Like it's not just match. Go. Have a good night. Like a lot of indies are. So.
Which, don't get me wrong, I love some good matches, and that's why I love wrestling. But a little bit of storytelling is what is going to make you stand out, and I think that Eve does it well. And that's like, I don't want to say like the non-big players, but we got stuff too. Like, are we going to see Alexis and Abby, feud for a little bit? Are we going to see them like interact more? With Melissa Fierce and Maddie Morgan, lasting the time limit against French Art. Like, do they have a stake into, getting a future title shot? Like, what's next for Session Moth? And is she going to continue to be able to afford all her babysitters for her 158 children? Um, Eve does a really fun job of setting up like like the A plot lines and the B plot lines, like the championship plot lines and the everything else plot lines. But everything makes sense, and there is consistency across all the shows, which is something that every company, independent and major, needs to take notes on. It's not that hard. It doesn't need to be this overly produced, overcomplicated thing. Simple story threads from show to show is what's going to help you, honestly.
Yeah, it's simple wrestling. It's like wrestling 101, you know, like paid off this week, work to next, you know. I love it.
Exactly. So, yeah, man, the summer for Eve is looking really good. Of course, you know, the next show is Friday Night Out, which is going to be at the beginning of August. And then it's Eve versus the World 2, leading into All in Wembley. And then, of course, it's not until November, but Elite Encounters. Again, you know, Brawling Birds are going to be in Eve. So I'm like, ha. So that's going to be fun. Um, but we are not quite done yet. So we are still in the realm of international girlies because I do want to give them the time. So originally tonight we were going to have two shows, one for Eve 151, but then also we were going to originally planned to have a full length show for Ring of Honor, CMLL, and Stardom Global Wars. I'm not gonna lie, I'm running on like 3 hours of sleep because we got in late for my vacation yesterday and I drove 2.5 hours home and got home at like 4 o'clock in the morning. So, but thankfully, Benny was nice enough to work with me as I texted him yesterday. While we're not going to do a full show recap, I don't want to not talk about the amazing international talent that was a part of Global Wars because I'm going to be completely honest. The international talent, specifically the international women, really made me feel like, damn, women wrestling be carrying it around the world in 2026. Like, honestly. So, we're going to briefly talk about some of the things we liked and some of the things we're like, about the 2 nights of Global Wars. Starting with Ring of Honor, I needed you to tell me in advance that it was 2 whole weeks because I thought it was just 1 week. And then you announced, be like, hey, night 2 is happening. I'm like, excuse me. I'm like, excuse my language, but God damn it, Ring of Honor. God damn it. I was so mad.
Yeah,
I was
right.
like, you should have told me it was 2 weeks.
Talk about like no communication whatsoever, right?
I
Because
was
like with
so mad.
for whatever reason, ROH is just like, hey, do you like AEW? I got a bunch of other stuff for you underneath the table. Would you like that? We get
It's
some
like the
scraps,
equivalent of
and it's like,
it's, it's the equivalent of like so I can't speak for the greater Massachusetts, Boston area, but for me living on the West Coast, it's like the equivalent of when you walk like Hollywood Boulevard in Los Angeles and you got like all the performers and the people selling their trinkets. It's like one of those sketchy guys in the alleyway with the trench coat be like, hey kid, I got some deals for you, and just like opens up the trench
yeah,
coat. That's how Ring of Honor feels sometimes. And again, that's my biggest issue with Global Wars. Like, I wish you had told me in advance it was going to be 2 nights, one for the purposes of actually scheduling a time to review both shows, but also hyping up all the incredible talent is going to be on there because we had some really great talent. Like, and anyways, let's get into it. So let's start with week 1 because there was some really fun matches, and again with Ring of Honor and international talent. So let me just get my notes out here because yeah. So, again, Ring of Honor, I needed you to tell me in advance that it was going to be 2 weeks worth of stuff, and we could have properly given time and effort. But I'm just going to really quickly read the results, and then Benny and I are going to talk about whatever match that we want to. So, of course, for night 1, we had Lio Rush becoming new Ring of Honor World Television Champion by defeating AR Fox and Action Andretti. Action Andretti getting pinned in the match. Thunder Rosa and Red Velvet defeating Viva Van and Lacey Lane. Stardom's Micah defeating Diamante. Beast Mortos and Sammy Guevara defeating Los Villanos and CMLL to retain the ROH tag titles. Takeshita defeating Lee Johnson. Takumi Iroha defeating Hyan. Takumi is now my favorite. I was like, oh shit. Anyways, Speedball, Mistico, and the Outrunners defeating Roppongi Vice and Lethal Twist, and then Athena defeating Shuri, which I was a little about, but great match. But I was like, damn. Anyways, so okay. So I will definitely say this. I think week one was definitely stronger in terms of like the global wars aspect of me being like, yeah, this was fine. Listen, I love Thunder and Red and Viva and Lacey, but I was like, this could have been a regular Ring of Honor episode. We didn't need to put on the show.
Yeah, that there was nothing Global Wars about that.
No,
Much like Takeshita versus Lee Johnson.
we
That
could
could
have
have been
put that
on
on
any Dynamite
AEW.
Collision.
Yes, we could have put it on there. Though I will say, though, the matches that were, well, okay, I have to say this. Though there was no Global Wars to it, I will say that the television championship match was actually really good and really fun. AR and Leo and
Yeah.
Action. I was like, Action, this is where have you been? I was like, okay, I get it. I was like, now if you give me this action every single time, then I could be on board. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, absolutely. Like he seems to be coming along really nicely. Like I don't think Crew was working out. So like uh both of them separately are doing great things, you know. And AR Fox is AR Fox, you know. So like you know what you're gonna get with that guy, you know.
Just so
Uh
good,
the
man.
the other weird one for me was the ROH tag match because that, you guys said it best in the CMLL review, actually, because I watched the review that you did, and that match was awful. It was just it was stinky. It was poo poo.
Well, and I
Like
think Will said it best too, because like Will said it best, like going into the match, because the week before there were trios action that had this match be made for the ROH tag titles. And Will said it best. This is like even when that got announced and that the ROH tag titles would be on the line in CMLL with Sammy and Mortos going up against the Villanos. Um, Will said it best. It's just like there are no stakes. There was no way that the Villanos were
mm,
winning, and I agree with you because we said that the match wasn't good because Mortos and the Villanos were on key. Sammy needs to work with more luchadors, which is insane to
yeah.
me because I was like, you're part of LFI, man. How are you not? But anywho, um, it was just rough to watch because Sammy didn't really adapt to the CMLL lucha style as much as he needed to. I was like, Sammy, I need you to get off of the AEW Ring of Honor mode. I need you to turn on Lucha Libre mode. I know you can do it, Samuel. Get it together.
Yeah, but that might be it's something you got to work at. You know what I mean? Like it's like there's a huge mentality in AEW that you could just like pick up anything and go do it. You know, like there's people that are there now that are like, yeah, I've been wrestling for about 6 months. I could be a world champion. You know, uh, but like, yeah, I agree. Like and like even like Los Pianos, like they were just sort of like they're not even. There's no urgency to them trying to win the titles. You know, like and they were fantastic. I liked them a lot. That was the first time I've seen them. But like, but let's get on to better things. Shuri and Athena two
That
was
match.
was all
Woo!
right. It was a good
Yeah,
match.
I was like,
You
hey,
know, like it was a great way to end of the night. Like they bookmarked this first show with two bangers. You know, like it was just like everything in the middle was sort of like I was sort of like disassociating with. You know,
yeah, this was again, I love the international talent that was brought in for Global Wars. I just wish that Ring of Honor gave them I don't want to say like proper opponents, but I wish they got utilized in a different way. Like, because I will say though, there was some good stuff in here too. Like for as short as it was, I wish they got more time, but I really enjoyed Micah and Diamante's match. Like I thought that was really solid. And getting again, fast forwarding to what we're going to talk about a little bit tomorrow evening, Micah sticking around the last couple of weeks has been really refreshing in ROH and in AEW too, because she's fantastic. And I'm like, thank God she got added to the survival of the finish match, because I was just like leading into this, I was like, I don't know, Tony, we're not really giving the time to these Stardom girls and the and the girlies from Japan in general. But
Yeah, you know how long those flights are? So
I
like,
know
that's crazy.
it's like
They're
18
just
plus
like
hours.
come in,
I looked it up. I was like, because I may or may
like
not want to be traveling to Japan in like the next couple of years or something.
yeah, right. Like just to come in for like a 6 minute match, awesome. Like, good job. All right. So that leads me to a little bit one more complaint. I'm sorry, I don't mean to bitch and moan about all of this, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, but I thought Micah and Diamante did as much as they could, right?
In the short
But
amount of time they got.
putting them out there cold, and the crowd in Cincinnati was did not know who Micah was.
Oh my gosh. Cincinnati, you don't get Global Wars no more. For both episodes, I was so mad at y'all.
That's not on the talent or on the crowd. That is on the promoter, right? Like, you need to introduce that person to your audience. You can't just assume that everybody knows who Micah is in Cincinnati. Like, it's like them playing the Mystico song, like uh uh and like
It
any
works in
point
certain
in
cities.
Jose.
Yeah,
Like,
it works in certain cities or in certainly like big wrestling cities. Like I'm be honest, it hasn't happened yet, but I feel like if Mystico's theme song played in Chicago, the Chicago crowd would get it. But that's because it's a wrestling city. So Chicago,
yeah.
listen, Chicago, as much grief as I give you from time to time, because you always get all the shit when it comes to wrestling. But and then of course, it's I think Tony has gotten a little bit smarter with how they do it, especially, playing that version of Mystico's entrance, especially here in California. You already know.
Mm.
Y'all already know that whether it's Southern California or Northern California, we are a majority population of Mexicanos. So you gonna get us singing. I'm just yes. So it works out. But
Oh, I
yeah,
love it,
I
by the
mean,
way. I'm not just
mhm.
poo-pooing it. I just mean, like, it's sometimes, like, you know, um, it'll
There's
be
a time and
playing,
place
and then people
and
are
certain
just
crowd. Yeah.
doing this with their phones because they don't know the lyrics. You know what I mean? Like, and they try to participate, but like, you can't assume that everybody knows those lyrics. You know?
There has to be some setup, and I feel like, and here's the thing, I love AEW and Ring of Honor crowds because, the quote unquote alternative to the Fed is always something that I
Mm,
want. And plus it gives us, AEW and ROH introduces a lot of like independent talent as well that gets signed to these, which I
mm,
love. But there has to be a little, but especially since AEW and ROH are like, even if it's on an app, they're televised, which means you have to do, especially for Ring of Honor, you have to do some legwork. Like, take for example, like I talked to a friend of mine who watches AEW, and Forbidden Door is always fun for him because he gets introduced to international wrestlers because he doesn't follow the international, brands and stuff.
mm.
So like what he's like, he had no idea who Starlight Kid was, but AEW gave us like a 2-minute package to talk about Starlight Kid. And he's like, yo, I kind of dig her. Now I understand a little bit of who she is as a character and all that. That's what Ring of Honor needed for both weeks of Global Wars, especially for our international talent.
Mm.
There has to be some legwork, but that
Yeah.
and that's kind of across the board. But like I said, not everything was bad because there were some matches like television match. Micah and Diamante was fun.
Mm.
I had no idea who she was, but I have instantly been trying to see more of Takumi Iroha because I think
Yeah.
her entrance and her ring gear immediately caught my eye. And then when she took on Hyann and just the style of her wrestling, I'm like, I'm gonna have to see more matches because I think I like her. I was like, I
Yeah,
like
definitely.
Takumi.
And
And
like
even though,
I guess
yeah.
that
Mhm.
I guess that's who Sari had like tried to replace herself with in the Owen. Uh but
Takumi
Tony
came
was
with
like, I
Sari,
don't know
yeah.
this person, so no. Like, well, we took a 21-hour flight to be here. You better put us on the show. Uh, like, but I thought that I thought she was great as well. And Hyan is somebody I've been watching for years, so I'm always happy to see Hyan.
Right. And then the last thing I'll say about week one, even though it was nothing new, I did like the pairing of Speedball, Mystico, and the Outrunners. I was like,
Yeah,
I can never be mad of like team like true baby face. I was like, they're my because they're all my favorites. I love Mystico, I love Speedball, I love the Outrunners. And Roppongi Vice and Lethal Twist were really good opponents in terms of this. It was just a fun match. We week one of Global Wars had some fun stuff, but again, there has to be leg work. And then let's quickly talk about week two, because
mm,
week two was very interesting as well. And honestly, I can't believe I'm saying this. I think week two probably for me had some of my. I feel like week two for me had more of my favorite matches than week one in terms of like the Global Wars aspect of it. But really quickly, Mark Davis defeating Ace Austin for the AEW National Championship. Don't know why it was not on a Collision or a Dynamite, but whatever. Um, Harley Cameron and Mina defeating Lacey Lane and Viva Van. Shooty and Billy Starks was really good with Shooty defeating Billy Starks. The Ops defeating the Premier Athletes, which again, don't know why it was on Global Wars. Mikey Nichols of TMDK defeating Aaron Solo. These last two matches were probably my favorite. Queen Aminata defeated Hanako because them bitches fought and was hitting hard and
oh,
loved that. And then the Women's Pure Championship, Deonna Purrazzo defeating Olympia, and Olympia did not make it easy for Deonna. And I was like, yes, this is what I want to see from Global Wars. Like that match rolled. Uh, no, yeah, the last two matches, Hanako and Aminata and Deonna and Olympia were probably my favorites, but Shooty and Billy Starks also slapped too. And which goes to say, the women kind of carried this episode for me.
as they usually do.
Yeah.
Uh, and I completely agree with you. Sherry versus Billy Starks was probably my favorite match of the night. Um, you know, Uh, I personally would have swapped those two matches from night one and night two,
Mm.
because it would have made more sense. But what am I to say? You know, um, a lot of these matches were like collision plus essentially. But even though like it had nothing to do with ROH Global Wars, the Harley Cameron Mina Shirakawa versus Lacey Lane and Viva Van, that match was awesome. Like
It
I was
was.
really impressed how great of a tag match that was. Like Lacey Lane and Viva Van got something. I really think they do. Like uh yeah, as you said, like Hanako and Queen Amanata. What a hard hitting match, man. Oh my god.
Man.
Looks like Amanata had finally met her match, you know? Like,
Mm,
and Olympia versus Diana was fine. I really like Olympia, and I like to see. I just only one of the first times I've seen her. I've only seen her a few times. What I mean, and she showed me something different from what she showed me the last time. So I always like that, more dimensions.
Yeah, it's been fun watching Olympia because when she quote unquote debuted in AEW, from there she did a stint in Japan, which was fun to watch. Then, back to Mexico, then coming in for, Forbidden Door with Thunder. It's been really fun as well. And we'll talk about it more tomorrow too. But it was crazy that this past week's Dynamite and Collision, I was like, especially Collision, I'm sitting there and I was just like, oh my God, you got Rena on the card from Start. Listen, I'm a big Rena fan from Stardom. Rena is my girl. I love her so much. But I'm like, you just throw all the international talent on Collision. And I was like, damn, this episode kind of looks great, y'all. But then that also was just
Yeah,
like, why did we get them on Global Wars? I
something
don't know.
tells me that those visas just didn't line up. Like for the dates, anyways. You know what I
That's
mean? Because
fair.
like I don't know. I don't know. I'm just speculating. You know. But I agree with you. Like seeing some of those matches, you're like, what the hell? Like,
I was like, yo, this is about to be a bop. Like,
yeah, right. And it
I
was.
will
And
say
it was.
it was. I will say, I enjoyed my vacation. I enjoyed my trip. I wouldn't exchange it for the world. But at the same time, I'm like, damn it, San Diego, you got great stuff for the double taping of Dynamite and Collision that Wednesday. I'm like, damn, y'all. I was like, maybe next time. But yeah, global again. I want Global Wars to continue, but y'all, Ring of Honor, y'all got to do better with the legwork of making the people who don't watch everything, or like me and Benny, we watch everything. Especially we pay attention a lot to the international brands. Like that's just us because we're two wrestling nerds, and we know who people are. But if you want to get more people into the product, y'all got to do a little bit of legwork here in ROH and establish folks. Like
Yeah.
so. Anyways,
Uh, you know, I love ROH. I always have. I might say I always will. But right now it's hard. You're just gonna make me care again. That's all. That's all, Tony. You're just gonna make me care again. You know.
I was just like, you made me so invested in the year one relaunch of ROH and when it turned into, the Honor Club version. Because year one was baller. Like, woo! I was like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, Tony, but I'm a
You know, I think
masochist apparently because I will keep coming back to your Ring of Honor, but I want you to make me care about the weeklies.
like my thing is that like sometimes I'm just like you hurt me, man. You burnt me. Uh, because you towed that line with Athena and Billy for so long, and then you never pulled the trigger. And now I don't even really care that much about Athena. I and I love Athena, right? But there's something in my mind when I see her in a graphic, I go, well, she's either winning or she's losing, depending on which show she's on.
Mm,
Love
also,
you, Athena,
sidebar.
though.
Uh,
Always a fan.
no, Athena's great. And yeah, I 100% agree with you. I was just like, I'm so mad. And I'm so frustrated that they never really pulled the trigger of, even if it wasn't for a long reign. Like, I think we could have had Billy be world champion for a little bit. So at
Hmm.
this point, I love Athena to death, and it's not her fault, but I am ready for her to lose that Ring of Honor World title. And I don't know. We shall see what happens. I mean, it's kind of related because they announced today that Friday, August 21st, they announced Death Before Dishonor for Ring of Honor. And I'm like, please, for the love of God, let's get this title off Athena so we can pull her up to AEW full time. I'm like, please. And,
Yeah.
but I don't know. But anywho, we'll talk more about that tomorrow night as we will, because that is the end of our Eve 151 and our brief chat about Global Wars. Um, yeah, Eve, y'all did the damn thing, and I'm looking forward to Friday Night Out, which is the first Friday of August. which is going to be fun to talk about. Which also, stay tuned because there are two Eve shows that we're going to be watching and covering in August. Friday Night Out, which is Eve 152, and then Eve 153 is Eve versus the World 2, which I'm excited for. Um, Also, really hoping that Evil Udo is able to scoop some of the Eve women to be on Mystery Wrestling because I think Abby would be hilarious. Alexis Falcon would be hilarious. Um, just anybody, just have the whole Mystery Wrestling and during All In Webley Week, just be all the women's wrestling because that'd be great.
Yeah. Can we get Nina? Like, she doesn't even have to take a bump. Like, I know she's pregnant and stuff like that. Like, just have her do a comedy spot.
Or even put
Like, what's
Nina on commentary with Evil Uno would be hilarious.
Oh yeah. Like Session Moth, Session Moth, and Cecil Nix. Let's just
Oh my
sign me up for
gosh,
that.
yes. Anyways, no, Wembley week is going to be fun because you got that whole entire week. Like UK wrestling is about to get crazy because you got All In, you got Rev Pro's anniversary show, which is stacked with the likes of like Jay Joshua, Leon Slater. Even though they're taking a break, FTR is going to be participating in some capacity at the Rev Pro anniversary. I'm like, listen, Dax and Cash fighting some British boys is gonna be fun to watch. Like, you got the
Yeah,
Mystery Wrestling Show, Eve versus the World 2, all in Wembley. I was just like, oh my gosh, my little heart is so excited.
yeah, and FTR are going to be as you said, on a layoff, so they're going to be coming in fresh. So look out, boys. They're coming and
Oh,
swinging.
this Refresh FTR is the best for everybody involved. But yeah, I mean, this week is also going. So that's it for Eve 151. This week is going to be really fun because minus CMLL, which is going to be, covering the regular show. This whole entire week is dedicated to all the stuff that has happened in the last week or two in terms of pay per views. So this is like a special pay per view week. So tomorrow evening, Benny and I will be back. We will be talking about Forbidden Door and how crazy amazing that show was. I was like, now that we had some time to digest and see how things have played out this past week in Dynamite and Collision, Forbidden Door was also is a candidate for me of being in like my favorite show of the year so far. And I was just like, it happens every year, and we'll talk more about it tomorrow. So I'm gonna say my thoughts, but I will just preview it by saying I was just like, people who want Forbidden Door to be retired because it doesn't have the quote unquote allure anymore needs to like go away. Because you it's funny because everyone makes a big stink out of it, and then when the show is over, they're like, "Oh my gosh, this was the best show." I was just like, I had faith the whole entire time, but y'all did
Yeah.
not. Get out of here.
Well, first off,
But yeah.
it's a side quest, right? It's a side quest show, pay per view, right? Let's not get worked up about this, right? Every single year, it's been like a week or two built, and every single time it's delivered, except for what Jack Perry and Sonata. But but you know, like there was two of those two matches on that. We'll get into this tomorrow, but there was two matches on that show that I usually don't include Forbidden Door matches in my end of the year list because it's like a
Right.
side. But this show had two matches that definitely are going on the list this year. I can't
Mm,
deny them.
mm. So yeah. So we'll talk more about it tomorrow. So tomorrow, Forbidden Door, and a little bit of Dynamite and Collision from this past week. Then on Wednesday, Kilt and I will be here to talk about NXT's The Great American Bash. And Will and I will be talking about 2 episodes of CMLL. Then on Friday, Will, number 2, and I will be talking about TNA's Slammiversary and also talking about how um, the ship continues to sink with, Eric Young being given his release after requesting his release from his contract in TNA, and also Mike Santana finishing up with TNA allegedly with his contract, being done now. So very interested to see. But we're going to talk about that on Friday. So But yeah, that is the rest of this week. Benny and I are going to get up on out of here because we did go way over, but it's been a week and why not? We love wrestling and I missed my friend. But we are going to get up on out of here. So thank you so much for tuning into our Eve 151 show. Like I said before, the next Eve show will be 152 Friday night out at the beginning of August. So until then, from all of us here at BC Wrestle Pod to you at home, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay iconic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. We'll catch you tomorrow for our Forbidden Door discussion. But until then, sayonara, adios, and until next time, peace.